The World Cup is set, and Costa Rica securing the final spot last night in the playoffs. Joel Campbell's goal in the third minute held as New Zealand were down to 10 men for the last 30 minutes of the match in Qatar. Los Ticos earning the right to come back here in a few months. They'll be making their third straight World Cup appearance. And they qualify for a sixth World Cup in total. Will compete in Group E in the finals against Germany, Japan, and Spain. Now that playoff between the fourth-place team in CONCACAF and Oceania Confederation winner at the Ahmad bin Ali Stadium there brought to an end a qualifying campaign of the finals in Qatar, which now runs November 21st through December 18th. All right, time to wake up with Luis Miguel Echegaray, the host of the Que Golazo podcast with World Cup expert picks. All right, first topic here for you, LME, a team, a big team that's going to fail to make it to the knockout stage.
Before I get into that, Tommy, I do want to stress the fact that everybody watching international competition right now, specifically the Nations League, should not get too carried away with their results. I think it's been ridiculous to see the overloading of matches that these players have had to do all the way from the end of the season. Think of the likes of like Trent Alexander-Arnold or Karim Benzema, who played a Champions League final. And then like days later, you got to join your national team. So these players have kept going and going and going. So it's very difficult to analyze just how well these teams are going to do over the course of the next few months until November. Having said that, Tommy Tran, let's talk about it. Okay, look, Portugal, I know you're going to get mad at me because you have so much talent, obviously led by Cristiano Ronaldo, Rafa Leao, of course, Otavio, Bruno Fernandes, Joe Cancelo. This is a very talented team. But just like Germany failed to get out of the group in 2018, I see Portugal having some issues, not so much because of their talent, but because Fernando Santos, a very good manager, of course, but he's very reactive as a manager. And I feel that other teams, specifically in their groups, Uruguay, by the way, that keeps developing under Diego Alonso. You don't know what the South Korea can do under Heung-min Son. And Ghana, a very talented team that's still trying to recruit some players, specifically born out of Ghana. I think Portugal might have an issue in this group to get out. Don't get mad at me about Portugal, okay? You needed to beat North Macedonia to get here in the first place. So I got Portugal as my big team to not get out of a group.
All right, you're fading Portugal, which is favored to win Group H at Caesars Sportsbook at -150. All right, so for fading a team, we got to back a team, a surprise quarterfinal squad. Which country is that going to be?
I got to go with Senegal, baby. I love this African side, the champions of Africa. Of course, they started the qualifying campaign for the next World Cup already, led by, of course, Sadio Mane, who's on his way to Bayern Munich. But it's not just about him. They have so much talent, including Mendy in goal, and of course, Ismail Sarr, Mendy in the midfield, Papa Gueye, Dia. You know, there's just such a collective unity of this side. And just like they did in 2002 by shocking France, by the way, the defending champion France in that World Cup, they can get to the quarterfinals once again. It all depends, by the way, on how they do in this group, because Netherlands are looking very good. I've talked highly of Ecuador, but I think Senegal, if they're collected, if they're ready, if they're organized, and they lead all the way, not just with the likes of Sadio Mane, they could even win this group. And if they do, oh baby, it could be a matchup against the USMNT, Tommy Tran. How good would that be? But I see Senegal being a very good team that can make it all the way to, at the very least, the quarterfinals.
They're in Group A with host nation Qatar, and of course, the reigning AFCON champs, and not once but twice denying Egypt and Mo Salah in different competitions. All right, so roughly, what was it, 2-ish weeks ago, we were asking you about your power rankings coming into the World Cup. So again, we now know with Los Ticos in the mix, you get to hit the reset button here. Let's see your top four, and I do see that you have England in there, but if memory serves me correct, you had them much higher before, LME.
A few things, first of all, that's the French flag, and then you got England. And I told my producer Brian Tully that I'm actually going with France. I'm taking England out of this top four here, Tommy Tran, because Brazil, to me, are the favorites still. They're too deep, too talented, too experienced not to do some noise here. Their group is very doable, and I think in the knockout stages, they'll just get better. Argentina is here now because I just think that this team, no longer relying on Lionel Messi, they now have a collective, star-studded team under Lionel Scaloni. You saw what they did against Italy. You know, Messi scored 5 goals against Estonia. This is a very good side, and I think I got them as 2. So South America rules the land. After that, Hansi Flick's Germany, Tommy Tran. My God, after the disappointment of 2018, I have seen the development of this German side under Hansi Flick. And in this Nations League June, I have seen such a talented core group that's finally getting back to what makes Germany so effective. They are very good and very ready to watch. And France, they're defending champions. I have to put them in the top 4. The reason there was confusion right there with your graphics, because England, to me, are very talented, but after losing 4-0 to Hungary, 4-0 at home to Hungary, and really showing very little this last month, I really worry about them. They're like the horse that drinks to water. They can take it all the way to water, but I wonder if Gareth Southgate can really take them to the promised land once again. So I'm a little bit worried. It's still November, still a long way to go, but I don't have them in my top 4 anymore. So I have Brazil, Argentina, Germany, and France.
All right, so England out, Germany in. It's the first of many legs. We'll call it a yellow. It's fine. We'll get there, and we'll be fine as we move forward. Still plenty of time. All right, so then out of those 4, have you changed your mind on the World Cup winner?
No, Brazil still wins this for me. I just think they are too good and too talented. Listen, it's not just about Neymar Jr. anymore, Tommy Tran. We're talking about this player right here who they're not longer depending on him, just like Argentina used to depend on Messi. Neymar Jr., of course, remains the leader of this side, but you have Vinicius Jr., the Champions League winner. You have Richarlison, who is a very good player under Brazil. You have Casemiro at the back. You have Gabriel Jesus. You have 2 world-class keepers in Alisson, who you see right here, and Ederson as well. The fact that they're competing for a spot is amazing. And Chiche, his last World Cup, because he leaves Brazil after this, I think the Brazilian team's going to want to win for them. And by the way, Brazil usually do very well when the World Cup is not in Europe. So I have Brazil as my favorite.
You love how much I love Vinicius Jr. hanging out with John Morant, of all people, out there getting ready for the World Cup. Or thanks to Luis Miguel
Echegaray. That's a good partnership, Tommy Tran. I like that.
I think so. Superstar matchup. All right, the Kay Galasso podcast. Again, a recap of Costa Rica edging New Zealand to get to Qatar and stay in Qatar, which they will come back in a few months and be able to play at the World Cup as Jules Campbell's early goal holds. It's LME, Jonathan Johnson, and Michael Laoud on the latest pod.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.